DreamKingz Films. We're here with Ribault Trojans head coach Marlon White.
Yes,
Real quick, coach, just talk about getting on the field with your team for the first time and how excited you was to be around your group.
Oh, it was great. I'm so tired of Zoom meetings. It was great to get back out with the kids and kind of do some one-on-ones. And we built the interaction online to get to know them and get to know the personalities of the coaches and talk to the one-on-ones, because there's a lot you can do on Zoom while they were gone, but to get back out here and get back to work and get the interaction going and kind of get a feel for the guys face to face has been great thus far. They've been enthusiastic. The coaches have been great. Our plan was in place already, so we came out and started executing it.
Coach, let's back up for a minute. You got the job mid-January, mid to late January. You come in from North Carolina. Real quick, Coach, just talk about getting the job and how excited you was, and also talk about the support that you got from the Northside community when you came in.
I was grateful to get the job. I was blessed. I had seen it on Football Scoop a couple of times, and it kept popping up over and over again. And I said, well, there's something here. Let me apply for it. And then to get the call and say that they were offering a position, I couldn't have been more grateful. The transition has been great. I have been received well by the Northside community. We've had great community partnerships. I had a lot of people reach out and talked about how they felt, how they wanted the program to be built back up, what they wanted to see from the program and the things that they wanted. And a lot of those things in line with the vision that I had already. So it was nothing to come in and get started, to make sure that we set the precedence for what we're trying to do at Ribault High School.
Yes, sir, Coach. Did you get a chance to talk to any of the alumni, like Lavernius Coles, Travis Taylor? Did you get a chance to speak with any of those guys?
I haven't had a chance to talk to Mr. Taylor yet. I spoke with Lavernius. I speak with Lavernius a couple of times. I spoke with him a couple of times, and he's been great thus far. He's been a great resource and point me in the right direction for people, and he backs what I'm doing. He showed me the ropes and getting around Jacksonville and what the North Side is about and how much pride we have in our team here, and just the support and understanding that what he wants is best for the school, and what everybody in Trojan Nation wants is just to see the program get back to where it was, and he's been great in that process.
Yes, sir, Coach. You was just starting your task of getting the program headed in the right direction. Then the COVID pandemic hit, threw the whole world for a loop. Real quick, Coach, just talk about that and how it threw you off track as you was getting ready to prepare for the spring with your team.
It threw us off track a little bit because we didn't get a chance to see the guys early. We didn't get them to get on the field and get that game in and get some film to do the play evaluation that we wanted to get started. But I'm gonna look at it like a little bit differently from everybody else. As a first-year head coach, it gave me a chance to get in and get some of the management stuff done. So I got a chance to get to know the kids one-on-one. I got a chance to see how it works behind the scenes and build the managerial portion back of the program back up. So I had that time and utilized every single minute. So it kind of gave me a little edge to get to where I needed to get right now and do the things that we needed to do, which was a scheduled release party, which was a big thing, and get to network some other coaches in the area. It gave a chance to do all that. So I'm not excited about it happening, but the fact that it happened and how it did gave me a better chance to interact one-on-one with the community and the players.
Recruiting-wise, how did you adjust to that?
Recruiting. So got phone calls early. My gist when I came in, I wanted to make sure that the recruiting part was intact. So what I ended up doing was I put together an administrative staff. I have an academic advisor, I have a recruiting coordinator, I have a volunteer coordinator, and I also have another recruiting coordinator I'm bringing on task. And what that entity is built to do is to make sure that our kids get exposure, to make sure that the coaches know about Ribault High School athletic football, and make sure that our kids are getting the necessary, getting seen in the light they should, getting that film out, getting to reach to those coaches on all levels, not just D1, but D2, D3, every level we possibly can to get kids in school. We want to make sure they had a platform to get that done.
Yes, sir, Coach. Socially, we all know what's going on in the world. Did you get a chance to talk to your kids and deliver a message amid the protests going on around the world?
Correct. Not only did I talk to the kids, I talked to the parents also, because I'm very transparent in what I do. So I didn't want one of the kids going to their parents and said, well, you know, Coach White said these things, or kind of had this conversation. The conversational piece had to be had, because with what's going on right now, our kids need to understand you have a voice. Your voice means something, and they should be able to speak out and be heard. And I let them know that they could come to me at any time if they had an issue, whether it was socially, whether it was economically, whether it was personally. They can come to me and they have a voice to where they can be heard. And I'm never going to reject the kid. No matter what time they call me, I'm available. And I think a lot of them are surprised that I'm up all hours of the night, because my focus is there, making sure that we have what we need. And the parents were receptive. They understood what I said, they heard what I said, and they liked the message that I sent across towards the kids.
Yes, sir, Coach. Can you talk about some of the plans you got for the facilities going forward? You plan on doing the cosmetic makeover? You got the field looking great. You're going to hook the stadium up even more. Just talk about that real real quick, Coach.
So, yes, that's the big plan. And the big thing, our motto for the school is excellence is the standard. That's our football team. Excellence is the standard. So we want to, when you walk in the front door, to understand that you're in the dungeon. You're in Trojan Nation. So cosmetically, we have plans to redo the concession stands, to redo the press box, to get paint on in the bleachers. We want to make sure the field is superb, because the field is in football, the field is our glory. So we want to make sure that those things are in place. So I have a plan in place, and I'm not trying to have too many fires, but I want to make sure that everything that these kids should have, they deserve. And they deserve for the field to look good. They deserve for the field house to look good. They deserve for the field they play on to be safe. And the people that visit the press, the referees that are in the press box, they expect Jelly Jackson. They should have a place that's comfortable. So I want to make sure that all those things are top-notch across the board. I want Ribault football, when you come to the dungeon, it's an experience.
Yes, sir, Coach. You put together a hell of a schedule, as you mentioned. It's one of the toughest around. Coach, can you talk about that real quick? And also how hard it was for you to put that schedule together?
Well, actually, between Mr. McNair and Mr. McNair called me day one, and he said, well, we have a couple open spots on the schedule. He said, now, what kind of schedule do you want? And I said, we got to be ready for the playoffs, period. So what I want to put a schedule like, I want the schedule to be a point where we can see everything that we're going to see throughout the year. So if we meet a team from Tallahassee or Miami or Orlando, we've seen every possible system, offensive formation, defensive systems that you're going to see in those games, so we're prepared. And I wanted a schedule that was going to challenge our kids. I didn't want a schedule we're going to come in and you can win. You can get the wins, you can win the 40-0, and it looks good on paper, but what kind of points are you getting? What did your team benefit from those games? I wanted people that's going to come in and establish programs, and they're going to say, look, we're going to smack you in the mouth for 4 quarters. How are you going to bounce back from it? And I think we're going to do an excellent job of responding. We're going to be prepared. We're going to be ready to go every single week, but I wanted our schedule to be on point, and I felt that with that schedule, I wanted our public, because of COVID-19 happened, I wanted everybody to know that, look, when you walk into our schedule this year, it ain't nothing easy, and every game is going to be worth being at, so you don't want to miss one of them.
In order to play that schedule and be successful, you're going to have a defense, and Ribault is known for playing really well defense, Coach. Real quick, can you just talk about your defense and what's going to make y'all guys so special this year?
Speed. Speed kills. And from what I've seen just in this past, just yesterday and today, we have speed across the board at every level. And I think that's going to benefit us the most, because learning how to use that speed, learning how to use those angles, learning how to use that God-given talent to be in the right place at the right time, getting coached up well. And I tell my coaches all day, right now we're teaching. So teach them the fundamentals, teach them where they need to go. And as long as we're doing that, by the time it's game time, they know they can read defenses, they can read an offense and say, hey, this is this formation, this is 2-by-1, this is 2-by-2. They understand what type of plays can be run from that. So our defense is going to be elite. And I told our guys on the team, I said, my depth chart is empty. So you're battling for positions. I don't know anybody. I'm coming in from scratch. What you show me is what I have to work with. And what shows up in practice on film, when we look at the film, on Wednesday night when we make that depth chart, it's because of what you've done to get where you're supposed to be.
Yes, sir, Coach. I know you went over all the film, and Sean Evans, I know he stood out to you, Coach. Sean Deuce Evans. Real quick, just talk about his skill set and what you think of him so far, Coach. And how special can Sean Evans be in your system?
He can be great in our system. We have Coach Paul Jackson coming over from Jackson High when they made their transition, and I was able to get him over here to be our defensive coordinator. And the system he's going to use is going to highlight those skill sets. He's going to be on the island sometime. He's going to be in zone coverage sometime. But his skill set is great. And what we want to see is hand-eye coordination. How do you come up on and play the ball? How you play the ball in the air? But not only playing the ball in the air, let's come down with it. Let's get that turnover. And he does a great job of sitting in zone and making those plays. He does a great job in man coverage. But I want to see how that back end speed transitions to those top tier teams, and with those 6'1" receivers, 6'2" receivers. And I think I know for sure he's going to step up to the plate and get it done. Great skill set for that young man.
Yes, sir, Coach. Talk about your linebackers and what you like out of that group.
Oh man, what's not to like? I got to say, from Chris Johnson, where we're moving them inside from outside to kind of use that sideline speed. We have Ernest Williams, we have Robert Williams, we have Breon Jordan that came as a freshman year last year and did an excellent job. We have Corey Cooper, aka Robot, who is just immaculate from top to bottom. And the goal now, we just got Chris Castor that came back on from an injury from last year. The goal, my biggest thing is trying to find out how can I get them on the field at the same time. And but their skill set, they're gonna fly around and hit people in the mouth. They're gonna make plays. And it's finding now who is gonna be the best at what they do every single day in practice and getting it done to be on field on Friday night.
Yes, sir, Coach. Corey Cooper, he's a tackling machine. Can you go into a little bit more detail about Corey, Coach?
Oh, man, I watched this kid on film, and all I saw was, who's 21? Who's 21? And when I got here and met him and just saw how defined he was and understanding that the IQ is what makes the big difference because he knows where he's supposed to be. He understands the game. And now it's about, let's get the discipline down packed. Understand your angles. Understand you got to squeeze this thing in and we can't get upfield. Let's squeeze it in. And making sure that we have all those little fundamental things. When he gets to that point, he's going to transform what we've seen from a rover back to a strong safety to outside linebacker. He's that good. Talk
about your defensive line, Coach, and who poised to have a breakout year sack-wise for you, Coach.
We got a kid named Zavontre Brown that's going to be huge for us. Carmelo Cooper is going to be huge at defensive end. And, I mean, we have a couple of new guys. Robert Williams might be coming to a stand-up defensive end. We have a kid named Kelsey Stowers who came in from Atlanta last year that we have big expectations for. We really believe that our front line and in the defense that we're going to play, we're going to be a gap sound defense. So all they have to worry about is their gap. So you have one job. And as long as they can do that and understand that those responsibilities and how those gaps move, it's going to be almost impossible to try to run against us.
Same question like with the offensive line, Coach. Who's going to keep your quarterback with a clean jersey?
My big boys up front. We got Big Tunk that's coming back. We got Steven Frazier that's up front. We got a kid named Brian Hill that's coming up from the JV squad that played center last year. He's going to be very intricate. We have Chris Brown, who's going to be the senior leader on that team along with Steven Frazier. And we got a new kid coming in named Harold Jordan that worked really hard to get his grades up. He's there now, and he's ready to come out and play. And a young man by the name of Simmons, who's an academic all-star, but he's going to be a really good player for us on O-line.
Coach Big Tunk, that's Sean Davis. He made our top 100 watch list from a couple years ago. Real quick, Coach, just talk about his skill set.
Oh, man. Last year he played outside, and when I watched the film, what I noticed was that the feet weren't there to be outside. Tackle is a really intricate position, so we want to make sure that our tackles can kind of much move. So this year I'm going to move him inside the guard so we can utilize that strength and that inline speed between that center and that tackle. He can make moves to that second level. So I do believe that being 6'3" right now, 315 pounds, strong as an ox, he's going to move people. What I want him to learn is angles, how to get from point A to point B. And once he gets that down pat, you're going to see a lot of linebackers push to the secondary because he can get there in a hurry.
Yes, sir, Coach. Josh Jones, Martrainius, Matt. You got two real deal running backs, Coach. Real quick, just talk about your horses and what they bring to the table.
Oh, man. Josh Jones, 23 popped out on film last year. Just an excellent all-around back that can catch the ball. He's good in the catch game, but he knows how to hit a crease, hitting that zone, planting that foot in the ground and taking off. You have Martrainius Mack that's coming over from Mandarin, who had an explosive year last year. He led that team in all-purpose yards. So he is just a little rock, a little bowling ball is what I call him. He's going to do a great job. We had a kid, Demontre Glee, who's coming up from my JV team last year, who got some experience last year on a varsity level. That's going to be a great asset to what we're trying to do here. We have Steven Roston, who's going to be playing fullback for us, and Travis Sparrow, who's coming up from JV. These guys are explosive, and I mean, for what we're going to do this year, they're going to get a lot of touches, a lot of carries, and I think they have a chance to make a lot of plays.
Yes, sir, Coach. Josh, he could play DB as well. Can you talk about his role he may play on the defensive side?
Cornerback is one of those positions. The same as Martrainius Mack. He's in the 707s. We watched the film that he went down to Gainesville when he played that 707 down there, and once again, 5'6", 5'7", but can jump out the building. Knows how to knows how to use that sideline. So between him and Josh, they're going to be versatile. They're going to get a lot of work in a lot of positions.
Yes, sir, Coach. Freddie Manning, electrifying wide receiver. Woo! Coach. Real quick, can you talk about that core and what you like out of them?
once again, they're almost like the linebackers. I got to find a spot for everybody and find out how to use each skill set. You have Freddie Manning Jr., who played the slot last year and did very well at it, who can work very well in space. We have Vincent Bailey, who's a former track kid, a 4-4 guy that can stretch the field. He had 4 catches in the rain game last year for the Reigns game for 94 yards. Then you have Amp Felton, who's coming back this year, a very aggressive possession receiver. Then you have Chris Johnson, that tight end, who can play slot, play the Z or the X, and can just stretch the field in many different ways. So we're going to have to find ways to get guys on the field, but that's a good problem to have.
Yes, sir, Coach. Vincent Bailey, he's a high leaper as well. A lot of people don't know he could jump on top of a roof. Can you talk about his skill set, Coach?
So some games last year he went absent to where he wasn't getting enough touches, and I feel like with a kid that has that kind of speed, you got to get him touches to get him in the game. And I go back to that Reigns game, to where you just saw when his hand-eye coordination and tracking the ball in the air was unmatched. So you got to find those ways to say, let's get him the ball early and often so we get a feel for the game. So when you begin to stretch the field out, he's already adjusted. But that skill set is one of those ones that we're going to put on display this year.
Kind of like the same question with Chris Johnson. He just recently committed to UConn.
Correct.
Just talk about how proud you was of him to make that commitment, and also talk about what he brings to the table. Everybody know he's a man-child, Coach.
Chris Johnson is a two-way player, and to make that kind of commitment early was huge for him. And I look at it and say, well, you made a decision, understand that, now hold up to it. Go there and be the best man you can be. My job is to make him, to highlight his skill set in the best way possible. He was another 5. When we saw 5 on film last year, it was like, whoa, this kid's all over the place. He's making plays. So we're going to move him inside, like I said, inside linebacker. We're going to put him to the mic to where now you got to either commit a man to him, but you're not going to get him from sideline side. It makes a problem. Plus, if we play Tampa 2, he can fall in the deep middle of the field. From tight end position, he's a mismatch for any linebacker in our conference, in the district, I feel. And then you take a guy like Vincent and Amp Felton and you put him on our side, and if you put Chris Johnson in the slot, who are you going to play? Pick your poison. So he's going to be a problem, and teams are going to have to find a way to say, who do I take out the game? And I think that's one of those keys. They got to find out where number 5 is at.
Yes, sir, Coach. Ribault, no stranger to a quarterback competition. Can you talk about that real quick?
Right now, it's between a freshman we had coming over by the name of Nick Jones and Santana Jackson, which is our senior quarterback. And Santana has got to be one of the brightest kids that I've seen. He studied a lot to learn the system because it's different. The terminology is different. But he's been doing a really good job of getting the system down pat and understanding what we're asking of our quarterback. Because my quarterback, that's my coach on the field. He's going to be that guy that sets the formations, that sets the calls, that understands if he needs to make an audible, that's to your discretion, but make sure that it's the right thing.
Yeah, just going back to your quarterback competition, Coach.
Okay, like I said, Nick Jones, a freshman coming up. He played a little bit at Reigns last year, transferred over. Really smart kid, good in the classroom, very coachable. And I think that he's going to try his best to push Santana for that starting position. Yes,
sir. Coach Santana, he's very athletic, but like you say, he's got to get it together. Do you think he could take that next step in this process?
I know he can. The thing is that learn the fundamentals, and that was the thing that this off time gave him a chance to. It gave him a chance to learn the system outside of playing right now. A lot of times our kids, they have a chance to come in, and what they're doing is they're learning a new system, they're practicing, they're trying to learn what I expect of the coach. But now all they had to do was, I got my playbook, I have my Zoom meetings, my coach is going over everything. It gives them a chance to mentally get prepared, and that slows the game down. And we did a good job of installs every week, and we're still doing it right now, but they're grasping it, they understand the play calls, they understand formations, and like I said, when I do my quarterbacks meetings, they make their calls. They understand. I'm putting the formations down, but understand, show me what I need to get out of this formation. So they're doing a really good job.
Yes, sir, Coach. Couple more questions before we get out of here. We all know what you're teaching them on the field, but one more time, reiterate for me what you're teaching them off the field, Coach. What you're instilling in your players over here at Ribault?
Character. That is the big thing, and I want these young men to understand that you are your own. You're your own too. You're your biggest asset. So the way you portray yourself and the way you present yourself to your public, you're your own promotional tool. So I want to make sure that they're high character men. They understand that they have choices, make educated decisions, and make decisions that's going to be best for you. It may not be the popular choice. It may not be what everybody wants, but is it the best fit for you? Because at the end of the day, you have to be the one that deals with the choice that you made. And as long as you're good with it, then that's pretty much all that matters. And I want them to understand that academics is going to be key. The Florida High School Athletics Association, their GPA standard is 2.0. Well, I raised the team GPA to 2.5 for this year. A lot of people said, well, those kids can't do it. I said, now you're talking about our kids. These are my kids. Our kids can do whatever the standard is. So the team GPA was 2.5, and we ended the last 9 weeks, and it came out in June. Our kids' GPA is a 2.89 right now. So they met the standard, and the goal is to make sure that all our kids are academically ready by the middle of their junior year. So that's what our academics council is there for. So let's get the academics right, because when coaches call me, they say, we've seen the film, they're great. What is their character and what are their academics? And as long as those things in place, and I'm making sure those things in place, and I'm a big advocate of it, our kids will do their step up to the challenge.
Coach, how proud are you of you guys to step up to the academic challenge?
That had to be one of the best feelings, because I think a lot of people doubted it. I think a lot of people want to say, well, they can't do it. A lot of people want to say that our kids can't be challenged like that. Well, they will, and as long as you set the standard, you don't veer from it, you're not up and down with the standard, and they understand where the line is, they'll do it. They'll go to class, and the thing that they're going to do is they're going to become accountable to each other. They'll see a kid, they'll see one of my kids, their brothers skipping class, and they say, hey, you got to get to class. Once they start patrolling each other, once they start holding each other accountable, it sets a different standard for the program. A football team can change the culture of a school when they're the ones that's, hey, let's do the right thing, let's get on track, let's get to class, let's do well in the classroom. And as long as we're setting the standard here, they'll promote it in the school, and it'll set everything that we want to do up in the right position.
Yes, sir, Coach. Lastly, before we get out of here, to the 2024 class that's coming in, that may be coming in the Ribault or any school around the county in the Northeast Florida area, that may be finding it hard to get acclimated to the high school system amid what's going on in the world. Do you got anything you want to say to them, Coach?
First off, if you come to Ribault, you're going to be set up for that success. Our academic advisor and our recruit coordinators, we set up freshman workshops. So where our freshmen can they're not come from middle school to high school, to where they have those counselors they can speak to. So when they have questions, we set them up. We have mandatory tutoring after school, and we're gonna have mandatory sophomore, junior, and senior tutoring, and then we're gonna have freshman tutoring, because it's different. They have a different, they have to get acclimated in a different way. So we want to make sure that they're set up for success at all times, both in the classroom, learning how to handle this type of athletic environment, and then balancing it out with the academic environment, so you don't get overwhelmed, and we have people in place to help you with that transition to make it easy for you.
Hey, Coach, thanks for talking with me.
Yes,
Good luck
sir.
to y'all future over here at Ribault.
Thank you for having me. Trojan pride.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Yes, sir.